Hey YouTube, it's Wig again, talking to EC Loves Animals and her video Wicca Harm None Applies to Animals. You know, that whole thing. Part of the Wiccan read, because that's where we get the harm none, because you know these 8 words the read fulfill and you harm none, do what you will. Let's see, I'm gonna go through, let's see, what do we have? Casting the circle, rhyming, honoring the old ones, indeed name, moon phases, trees, wheel the year, holidays. Oh, heed you flower, bush, and tree, and by the lady blessed you'll be. Blah 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 blah. Threefold law, misfortune, true law of the bee, and your heart may do what you will. Okay, so what I just found, by skimming that over, just to make sure everybody agrees with me here, what I just saw is that nowhere in there does it say we can't kill animals. Um, Yeah, I don't see that in there. That's where we get the harm none rule. So why can't I find it in there? It's because it doesn't happen. That's not how it works. Um, really, you have the two main archetypes here. You have goddess, god, feminine, masculine, earth and water, air and fire. The whole thing with that is way back in the day, hunter-gatherer man, original old-fashioned man with the goddess worship and the god worship. They have these two functions that they were primarily concerned with: providing food and a family through plants and animal sources. The women back then gathered plants, and yes, it did comprise 65% of our food source. They also, took care of the family because they were sedentary, basically. I mean, everybody moved, but they stayed with, their group. Men would go hunting. They would be the ones to chase down the animals. Thus, when goddess and god were established, the two polarities, the original polarity was mother goddess, hunter god. I mean, we have tons of hunter gods. I could list them off, but I decided not to. I mean, but needless to say, when have you not seen a male god going, like, hunting, unless he's, like, an archer or somebody like that? Um, you have the mother goddess. You have all the different fertility goddesses and the ones that relate to harvest and also vegetation, things like that. Wiccans are goddess worshippers, but Wicca is also based in duality, where you have masculine and feminine aspects that are interrelate. So all I'm saying is, if you're going to be vegan, go ahead and be vegan. If you're going to be an omnivore, go ahead and be an omnivore. If you don't want to touch any plant matter, go ahead and be a carnivore. But the whole thing is, nowhere in Wicca does it not specifically say you can't eat meat. Nothing says that. It's not even technically implied. Harm none. I always thought that was the rule against using your ritual to harm somebody. That's what I think, because I think the Wiccan Reed applies to everything religious and spiritual about Wicca and not the mundane matters. Even if it does, I still don't see it. All I'm saying. So you have a duality that you have to adhere to, and part of that duality is the hunter god, the original archetype of male. So the killing and eating of animals and using it in products such as leather, which vegans are against too, um, you know, all I'm saying is that's incorporated into our religious duality, the thing that founded it, having the goddess god, sun, moon, all that. You, it's incorporated, so I don't see where anybody's saying that we can't eat meat. Um, and factory farming is bad. We've seen the videos, thanks to PETA. Woohoo, PETA. Yeah, we've seen the videos. We've seen, chickens getting strung up when they're not dead, on the little conveyor belts and all that. We've seen it. Been done. Um, but what I do see is also that there are farms, independent local farms, that, raise animals, raises them well, organically, lets them basically live out their lives as they would, and then they, when it's time for them to go, they get used as food. You can buy the meat from green farms, buy the meat from those people who are raising it, in a good way. They're using the milk, they're using all that, and even so, part of Native American and early man's things was we used every part of the animal, hardly anything, if anything, was put to waste. Um, Take on the Native American idea where, the hearts of bison and things were buried that, and we're hoping that that would replenish the population, but everything else was used. We could be like that. I mean, leather crafts out of dead cow. Use its milk, use the meat, use the skin. Once you do that, you're basically living as we were intended to way back in the day. And if you're a Wiccan, you follow natural law. Natural law states that there are predatory animals and that there are vegetarian animals. Yeah, go ahead, do it. Be vegan. It doesn't matter. Don't try to justify being vegan by your religion. Don't try to say, oh, well, everybody should be like me, because that's not right. Something about Wicca is we don't proselytize. Okay, so maybe I've gained a few people, through telling them about Wicca when they were religiously confused. Yeah, it was a little unethical, maybe. But what I do know is that we don't proselytize, and if you're going to not proselytize in religion, why are you proselytizing with your choices? Oh, sure, you're beating on the Book of Shadows of veganism over here, but you know what? It's not how we do. So, in closing here, let me just say, um, yeah, follow the Wiccan Read, but you can still eat meat. So, with that, I'm going to go. Peace out, YouTube. Hope this video was worth your time.